self-driving cars, new advancements in AI, virtual reality. Tech is moving fast, and some of us may be struggling to keep up. For parents, the question is, how do you really prepare your kids for what's to come?
I'm still preparing myself. We're
Smart.
joined by Gregg Behr, the author of When You Wonder, You're Learning, and Brea Schmidt with the Thinking Branch for today's parent panel. Preparation is key, but when you don't really know what's going to happen, there's a lot of anxiety that comes as far as parenting is concerned. And Gregg, I really love the story that you told us about your family trip, if you wouldn't mind telling everyone else.
Yeah, so we'd gone out to the West Coast to visit my brother, and we'd gone to a friend's house for dinner, and the friend said afterwards, "You want to get a Waymo? A Waymo is a robotic taxi." And we're like, and we'd seen them driving around town, and we're like, sure, like why not throw our family in a driverless vehicle
Absolutely,
and
get in,
drive
kid.
30 minutes across town? And I tell you, we got in the car and we were freaking out for the first 5 minutes because it's a driverless vehicle, and we're driving through the city of San Francisco, up and down hills. There are cross streets and people and construction. And then after about 5 minutes, we calmed down. It felt like we were on a ride at Disney World.
Oh my God.
And we got to the end, and it was just this moment like the Jetsons' future just smacked us in the face and went right by.
Yeah, we've been waiting for that moment. So I have to ask, were you more terrified or were the kids? I bet was it more so you?
It was a little bit of all of us, because my wife and my daughters were in the back seat. I was in the front seat. You know, I wanted to grab that steering wheel. Like, what happens if I
the
grab that
invisible
steering
brake
wheel?
my dad still uses when I get in the car.
Yeah.
But honestly, we were all screaming, and then we calmed down, and we're playing with the radio, we're dancing, and as we're going through the streets, it felt so normal after a few minutes after that freak out moment. Right?
Absolutely. And that was a learning experience, you said, for you, because you just said, how was I supposed to prepare them for that moment when I, in turn, wasn't prepared? And Brea, I know that your kids are so active, and you have 3 of them. Yeah. How do you find yourself, especially at their different ages, now with all these different teams, different personalities are coming in and out, how do you prepare them for the unexpected?
Yeah, well, you know, Gregg and I were talking before we came out here, and the job that I have as a social media influencer didn't exist when I was their age. So I couldn't say, I want to be a social media influencer when I grow up. And so my experience in the career path that I've taken really helps me in parenting them to know that my job really is to just help them be right where they are, and to pay attention, and to, you know, be excited, and to just learn whatever skill they can from whoever they're around, whether it's teachers or neighbors or friends. Take it all in so that whenever an opportunity comes up that they weren't expecting it, that they're prepared for it, and that they feel like, you know, they know that we'll support them in doing that. But it's an ever-changing world, and you are always questioning yourself whether you're doing it right. And
when are we going to know?
I don't know if you ever do.
When do test results come back?
Well, speaking of like school too, I mean, so many things have changed. I don't think kids get physical report cards anymore. Everyone has a laptop. Apparently, I hear about this new math. I mean, this I barely knew the old math.
Right.
I mean, this makes me very anxious for when my little one goes to school, because it's like, how am I going to help him with any of this?
It's so true.
Yeah.
Well, that's where we engage in conversations with our colleagues, right? We live in this place that in so many ways is the center of reimagining education, of remaking learning. And so those conversations with your teachers, going to the library and finding the STEM corner or the makerspace, finding those experiences all across our community, libraries, museums, after-school programs, those are the moments where together with our kids, we start to see how learning is being remade and the things that we can do to support our kids if they're lit up by art and design, or by coding, or by driverless vehicles, or whatever it might be.
Absolutely. And I think that a lot of us as parents take our kids' hobbies, I don't want to say lightly, but they are things they do so we can get things done. But I think it's cool because if we kind of dig a little deeper and watch them a little closer, they could be in a driverless vehicle saying, wonder how this works. And engineer, yes, get in here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Gregg and Ryan write about that in the book, is really, you know, and it helped me as a parent as I'm watching my kids and seeing the little things that they find themselves interested in, instead of just being like, oh, that's cool. It's like, wow, I've heard them say that a couple of times. And so as a parent, I feel like my job is to just foster that and to say, that's really cool that you're interested in that. Maybe we can find out some other things about it. I had parents who did that for me. They just let me be who I was. If I was interested in something, they let me explore it. And I think that that's what we need to do for our kids, because I think they're going to be wondering all the way up to adults. We're still wondering about what's to come. And so I think it's just for parents to just pay attention, notice what they're interested in, foster it, and get excited about it with them.
Yeah, and I think it's about not saying no all the time, especially when they're exploring. I mean, I have a little one who's roaming around the house, and if he finds a pot and he's banging on it, I mean, hey, that could be a lesson in
You're a drummer.
He's learning acoustics,
Sound,
right?
yeah.
So just letting them be free and figure out who they want to be.
Absolutely. It's an easier said than done situation.
It is.
Amen to that.
My goodness, it feels good.